These characters launched strong, survived power creep, and still to this day dominate Phantom Parade. Today we'll be asking who really stood the test of time in Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade, and how did they really do it? First off, we'll start with the rules for this video. To be considered a GOAT, you must be strong on release, still be usable / have meta relevance to this day, bring unique value to any account that they're on, and must be usable on multiple teams. With the boring rules out the way, let's start the video. We have Ryo Inumaki. Ryo Inumaki has been a meta staple ever since the launch of Phantom Parade. His main gimmick is giving ult charge to his whole team, but on release, this guy was a bit of a Swiss Army knife. He had the ability to stun, give ult gauge, and increase your team's defense, ensuring their survival. The downside of this guy, his attacks hurt him, ruining his own survivability, and his damage wasn't nothing, but it wasn't really anything either. Since the game's release, the meta has changed a lot, and Inumaki has lost a little bit of his value. You don't really use him to stun anymore, or increase the team's defense, even though the defense increase is very nice. But the fact that his survivability is low is actually really good. Nowadays, we play him as a sack unit, so you want him to leave the field after he buffs the team, giving them ult charge. The reason he's still strong in current meta is because there's no one that can provide as much ult gauge as Ryo Inumaki. He's been one of the best, and he's probably going to be one of the best for a while. For utility, I'll give him a 3 out of 4 stars. For synergy, I'm going to give him 4.5 stars. And for flexibility, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 5 stars. Yaga was one of the best units on release, being able to buff his allies' curse and physical damage, while debuffing the enemies, making them take increased curse and physical damage. This unit was a meta staple, but is he still? Yaga was a unit from the olden time of Phantom Parade, where we didn't really have mono teams, and this made Yaga really strong. He could pair with any unit, thanks to his omni-colored buff. Back then, stacking 4 Yaga buffs on top of each other was one of the best ways to increase your unit's damage. Nowadays, with units like Domain Expansion Gojo and Transformed Mahito, Yaga's buffs don't seem as impressive anymore. But Yaga still is a red, curse and physical buffer. There's no other unit in all of Phantom Parade that can match that. And because he has Omni buffs, he's also the best cursed and physical buffer for blue, letting Yaga hold a slot out of 2 of the 4 colors. For utility, I'll give Yaga 3 stars because he is able to both buff cursed and physical and debuff cursed and physical with his ultimate. For synergy, I'll give him 4 stars for the fact that he only gets run on 2 colors in the game, which is better than most. And for flexibility, I'm going to give him a 2 out of 5 because you only need to use his debuff in the early game, otherwise you're just spamming his curse and physical buff ability. Yaga is a true legend. I want to show off the honorable mentions. First off, we have SR Kaito. He's able to give attack nullification to any ally. He's the only unit in the game that can give this as a buff, but it's not really used as much unless you're free to play and you're trying to find a more budget way to beat the level. But the power of this ability has not gone down, it's just the viability of it has. Following him, we have Mahito. Mahito used to be the king of stall, but since the tower update where they nerfed any unit that's off color, Mahito's stall hasn't been as good since. You can still use Mahito though as a backup burst DPS to chip away the final 15% of a boss's max HP. Moving on, we have Nanami and Gakuganji. Both of them have been power crept, but they're both universal buffers. Nanami being attack buff and Gakuganji debuffing the enemy's curse and physical resistance, meaning these guys will still carry any newer accounts that don't have a big stockpile of different colored buffers and debuffers. And the final honorable mention, Yellow Mekumaru. Yellow Mekumaru's sole purpose is to be a breaker for the yellow team. Any fight where you can only really deal damage to a boss after they're broken, that's the fight you want to use Mekumaru in. Since day 1, there's been no unit that's able to give as much cursed energy as this Ryo Kaito. This unit gives defense, cursed energy, and buffs cursed damage. He's another sack unit like Ryo Inumaki. You play this unit expecting him to die, bringing in your backup unit, but before he passes, he ends up filling his team with cursed energy. Nowadays, we don't really care about his defense buff or his curse buff, because he'll be getting sacked way before he has a chance to use those abilities. But every team in every color loves to use his curse generation ability. I'm not a manga reader, so I don't know if there's anybody in the series with an ability like Kaito. If not, I can't see Kaito ever getting knocked off the #1 throne of Phantom Parade. For his utility, I'll give him a 4 out of 5. For his synergy, I'll give him a 4 out of 5. And for his flexibility, I'll give him a 5 out of 5. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. I'd really appreciate it if you click this video over here It's made up game modes that I made for Phantom Parade. I'm hoping they add it so there's like more content in the game. Bye.